Ready?
Yep. Hit it.
Well, hello.
What up?
Welcome to the Willow Hour.
Welcome in.
You're here.
I'm here.
We're all here.
We're all here
I'm
together.
so glad that we're all here.
Me too.
If you're new here, or if you've been here, hope
Zena.
you ain't never seen an episode without an intro before. But today's gonna be the day.
You gonna see it.
We're just about to jump in.
Yes. If you don't catch the last episode, you gonna feel like you just stepped into a conversation right in the middle. You're gonna be like, huh? Mm-hmm. I never met you before. What is even your name?
What are you
I mean,
guys
we just told
talking
you.
about?
What are you guys talking about? How did you get
Yes.
here?
So
Or also, like, maybe even you heard a conversation that was happening, you left and you came back and it was somewhere completely different. You're like, whoa, how'd y'all get from that to this?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's gonna feel. So if you didn't catch the last episode, you really should.
yes,
You know, fly by the seat of your pants, I guess, if you don't want to, but
yes.
hard recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
So, where we picking up from last time, what did it look to live out Christ is supreme? Because, we talked a lot about how we internalized it, how we conceptualized it, how we saw it, how we breathed it. But, like, what did it actually look like to live those beliefs? For me, it looked like inundating myself with only Christian things, saturating myself to the point that my only thoughts were godly, Christian, holy, righteous thoughts.
Christian, holy, righteous. Okay.
I can already see someone being like, well, nowhere in the Bible does it say that you need to only listen to like Christian music or like watch only like Christian TV or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I mean, no shit. It didn't say it. But me believing that I needed to flood myself with only Christian content shows how deep my fear was that I wasn't going to keep Jesus in his rightful place.
Yes. And also, did we not do mad things that are not in there?
Yeah.
Like mad things? Like innumerable things? But okay.
It was my only way of believing that I would continuously
Yes.
keep Christ in his rightful position in my life. I feel like I don't know. It took me a while, and I knew it was going to take me a while because it was just incredibly triggering to go through my song library on my phone and delete all of the Jesus music.
I'm still doing it till this day.
I was like, one day I'm going to sit down and I'm going to delete it all. And it was as triggering as I thought it was going to be. Because, okay, so I'm neurodivergent. And something that I do because of my neurodivergent brain is that I cling to one song, a few songs, one album, whatever it is, I cling to it, and every part of my being needs to listen to it over and over and over again. For whatever reason, it's soothing. It speaks to me. The specific way that it sounds in my ear is giving me something, and so that is already my tendency. It doesn't have to be Christian music; it could be anything at all. If the sound is pleasing, I'm just going to give it to myself over and over and over again. So you add that plus me believing that like saturating myself in Christian things, in Christian music, in all things Christian was holy and divine, and I was going to go hard as fuck.
I can't even breathe. You're talking about it. I'm just like, I can't even breathe.
Because I was
Yes.
going to, if there was a way to listen
Yeah.
too much, if there was a way to listen until your ears bleed, that is the approach that I was going to take to
Can I
it.
tell you something? So last year in my Spotify, what is it called? Wrapped.
Yep.
The one song that I listened to the most, I listened to on January. No, not last year. Before that. The year before. The one song that I had listened to the most was the song I heard on January 12th. And I played it 100 times on that day.
Yes.
And it was a Jesus song.
Exactly. That.
I was like, you're telling me all throughout the year I never listened to a single song more than that? I listened to songs over and over. But yep, that's how I listened to it.
That is
I heard it and it sunk into my bones. I was like, this is what I need to feel about Jesus.
And as I was going through it, I just encountered song after song after song that I did that with. And I do it so hard that when I listen to that song, it literally transports me to that time in my life where I listened to the song. Maybe it was like I listened to that song all day from the moment I opened my eyes to when I literally listened to it to sleep. Maybe I listened to it for the entire week. Maybe I listened to it for 3 months straight. Whatever it was, I was so attached to these songs, and I remember exactly what these songs made me feel about myself in relation to God, about who God is, about what I should believe. I can remember so much of the way that I internalized all of it and just felt it so deep within me that I was like, I have been out of this Christian game for a long time, but I know this one is going to rock me. And so I'm going to take my time. I'm going to continue to listen to music. I'm going to look at my library like it's not even there. And when I can do it, I will do it. My best method of brainwashing myself was to only listen to Christian content. It literally, I mean, brainwashing. Like, I just feel like there's emphasis on the washing part, like the cleaning out of my brain. The best way for me to clean out of my brain of anything impure, wrong, not godly, unholy, just the best way was to just continue to pour in the most of this so that it drowns or wipes clean or pushes away anything else that is not of God. So like only Christian podcasts, listening to sermons from multiple pastors, attending virtual and in-person conferences. And if I did allow myself to take in any non-Christian material, I was to scrutinize the shit out of it. I was never to take anything in lightly. I was never to believe actually that I could take anything in lightly. I needed to believe. I think you mentioned it in a couple episodes ago, probably within Purity Culture, about taking every thought captive. Like, it just nothing.
That's in the Bible, by the way.
Yeah, if you are doing it right, nothing should just wash over you.
Right.
You should be aware of everything that you are taking in and processing it through the lens of God, Jesus, the Bible, this Christian life, all of it. You cannot just passively take in anything in your life.
Facts.
And so you can see with these beliefs about life and living this way, there is just a constant shame and fear of idols. And I feel like, there are so many understandings to like what an idol is. And I feel like different images or different understandings pop up for, differently for everybody who hears that word. But I was like, I had shame and guilt for any thought, any joy, any worry, anything at all that might come before Jesus. Genuine fear that anything in my life would become an idol and would replace Jesus at the top. Like every single day.
Yep.
At any moment, I could put something before Jesus. I was literally like so hyper vigilant about everything that I was doing because it's like, this is my life. This is my life goal, is to keep Jesus as number one. You worry about everything that you do, everything that you think, everything that you look at, everything that you listen to. And you throw out immediately anything that you are feeling any deep feelings towards. Whether that's like, I don't know, even like deep disgust. Is that becoming an idol? It doesn't even have to be something that's good. It doesn't even have to be something that's enjoyable. Mm-hmm. It can be anything. Mm-hmm. Can become an idol at any point and replace where Jesus should be in your life. And I believed also that if I felt too deeply about anything, it was a sign that I was creating an idol, and I either give it up now, or it will be even worse for me when God takes it away, because then he'll probably have to punish me to teach me a lesson. So it won't just be that I simply lost this thing that I felt deeply about because God saw it becoming an idol in my life and he took it away. Yeah. But then he will add punishment or whatever you call it to really get me to learn this lesson that I won't make this mistake again. So at all times, I am sifting through everything to make sure that if it is, I give it up before God takes it away. Literally constantly throwing out things just to avoid making them an idol. It's like scoop every single day. Throw that out. The brainwashing and indoctrination is so effective because it causes you to become extremely fearful. And you don't recognize the fear because then you brainwash yourself and tell yourself all the time that you are experiencing the peace that surpasses understanding. So how could you be in such extreme fear and constant anxiety when you because you know Jesus, supreme, you know the God of the universe, you have the peace that surpasses understanding.
This though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So you become scared of so many things, of people. Is my phone becoming an idol? Is my desire to look good becoming an idol? Is this juice that I love to drink every day becoming an idol? Like anything at any point can become more. I could attach myself more to it than I attach myself to Jesus, and that would be absolutely wrong. It could be even the thing that throws me over the edge to Jesus saying he never knew me.
Oh my gosh, stop. Yeah.
You have to constantly look at your life and make sure everything is right. Jesus is in his right space. And like I said, scared of people. Do I love my husband too much? Mm-hmm. Do I love my kids too much? Do I value my best friend too much? Mm-hmm. Legit afraid of loving people too much. Mm-hmm. Investing myself in other people's lives too much that I would then start to elevate them to the place of Jesus. I can't give credit to anything else. I can't acknowledge anything else. At any moment, anything can become an idol. Yeah. You just get so used to denying yourself of anything good, enjoyable, pleasurable, out of fear that it will become more important than the living God.
Honestly, the word hypervigilance really stuck out to me because I just feel that like hypervigilance is in a sense the Christian experience, because you're afraid that at any moment, like I always think about bad company corrupts good character. It's something I learned from child. Bad company corrupts good character is something that I always would think about. It's like, don't be around anyone or anything that would corrupt you. Corrupt. So that's just just like bad company corrupts good character. So like if I want to keep good character, I need to, like, anything that might change your mind against God, anything that might point, it's called from Satan also.
It will corrupt.
And it's all from Satan also. We have to be vigilant because Satan is on the prowl. So the vigilance, it just extends to actually, in a sense, a lot of aspects. And I've also felt that like not everybody, well, I feel people don't say almost exactly the things that you were saying about like, or even just that hypervigilance. I mean, yeah, they do kind of say the hypervigilance part, but some of the stuff is not like it's said exactly to you, but that's the effect that it has on you.
Right.
Like the effect is that you feel like you can only consume Christian content.
Right.
And some people who have gotten to the place where they feel like they can consume unchristian content or non-Christian content have to, in a sense, go on a journey with God to figure out like what that looks like for them and where their boundary is and what their conviction is. And in a sense, even whether it's allowable, but if you get to the point where it's allowable, what does allowable really mean? And then, but still that hypervigilance is there because at the end of the day, you really don't want anything to take it too far. So you have to really abide by whatever boundary that you've kind of figured out. And then when something's too far, you really have to be like, yeah, I was really enjoying that, but then it went too far.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, so many things. But I want to say, you know, as I get into like my personal experience, like idols, you know, my understanding of idols was always like there was idol worship, like anything that like a statue that is worshipped as God in the place of God, because God is not anything, any object or anything. So anything that is worshipped as God, like in a sense, you know, nature, anything that is like thought of as God, or but I know historically it's specifically about like objects, like images made, things that are made in the image of God, right? Like if I had a statue of Jesus and every day I prayed to that statue, that would be an idol. That's my understanding. So like basically anything that gets worshipped in the place of God or to the degree of God. And you know, for me, all my interests, like you said, were just, I had to really keep them in check.
Yes.
Art, music, work, success in anything, people, everything has to be like very much kept in check. Like I have to really like always be sussing out like, where am I at with this? Is it really, how much time am I spending on it? Like I said before, your time should really be spent on the most important thing in the universe. So like if you're really spending even time on things that are like not Jesus, like are you spending a little too much time doing that? Like you really need to evaluate your priorities in their day. You know? And I remember even at my wedding, I had to like, no one forced me, but I felt like I had to be like, I promise to put you second.
Yes.
I said that. I promise to put you second.
Yes.
Below the Lord. It's like some people who weren't Christian in the room were like, what's that? Like, and then I could see when I said like God first and you second, people were like, wow, that is a faithful Christian. That is a faithful Christian.
Put you second.
Second. I had to say that though, because that even when I'm sitting there believing that God has put me and my partner together, I still have to say, you come after God, though. God come first for each of us, and that will bring us closer. And I had to put myself, my interests, my relationships, everything down a line of importance with God at the front. Maybe, like you said, if I love something too much, God will take it from me. And it's best probably if I keep it in check and I cut it before he has to.
Yes.
You know, that would be responsible of me. That would be faithful of me to do that, to really, and you know, if anything, preemptively ask for his help if I feel like something's going on, you know, like really show him that I'm putting the effort to make sure that he comes first.
Yes. Yeah. That will show your faithfulness.
Yes.
And faithfulness is to be valued.
But also, I know, right? But also at the same time, as if he doesn't know that I'm trying to game that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you catch yourself doing those type of things, you're like, oh, but God already knew that I was trying to do that. What do I do now?
What do you do now?
Just keep going. Try it different. But basically, you get this strange effect that you start dreading your own joy. You start feeling guilty for enjoying anything. Guilty for enjoying anything. And this is, you know, like I said, this is how I felt with nature. If I loved to be out in nature, I had to make sure that I reminded myself and anyone who I shared that joy with or that experience with, that you should worship the Creator and not the creation. We've talked about this. Because truly and honestly, like, art and nature were some of the only things growing up that made me feel safe in this world. You know, quiet moments with no one around, with a tree or with the ocean, with my hand in the sand, feet in the sand, whatever it might be, sitting by a lake, whatever it might be. Those were safe and sacred moments for me.
Yep.
Making art was freedom for me. Like when I discovered painting, I was like, I am free. Like the freedom that I felt in being able to create and express myself was like, I just felt like I was unleashed. Like I felt like I opened up and I felt like I could be myself. Yet when I became a Christian, I couldn't let myself believe that those things were a source of anything, because my source is Jesus. My source is God. My source is the Holy Spirit.
That's exactly what I felt when I said I couldn't give credit to anything else.
Cannot give credit to anything. It didn't do it. God did. And even sometimes when I do things, I didn't do it. God did.
Yep.
Nothing gets credit other than God.
Don't ever get confused.
Nope. Catch yourself before you wreck yourself. Don't say it. Don't do it. So anything that you might even say that you like, make sure the people that you're telling that you like it know that, like, by the grace of God, I get to create art.
Yes.
By the grace of God, I had a beautiful day at the beach yesterday.
Yep.
God has really been showing me something. When I go to the beach, God has really been talking to me and speaking to me and giving me some surpassing peace.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Credit to God that I'm experiencing such a beautiful moment outdoors. Wow, look at how beautiful these plants are that I get to be here. God knew the beauty of what he had made. Wow. You know? Even when I started selling my art online, I tried my damnedest. Tried my damnedest to make it about God. By the grace of God, he made me a creative person and that I get to use these gifts for him.
Yep.
I didn't know how, but I was going to try.
Yep.
You know? If I didn't, I knew I would be getting more out of it than I was getting out of God.
Yeah. Ooh.
I finally get to live now and enjoy them and feel so guiltless and just honestly revel in it. Like I could just lay in the sand and be like, I can absorb life.
I know.
I can just absorb it. I can hear the ocean and be like, that is beautiful and that is sacred and that is eternity.
You can just live.
You know, that is beautiful. And I get to, I always had to attribute that beauty to God. But now I'm just like, I can just actually be present. I get to enjoy my joy and not feel guilty about it and wait for the other shoe to drop.
I know. Wait for the other shoe to drop. I feel like that with hypervigilance is like right along with it. Just really waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Is dread.
Just waiting. Actually. Like you believe it is coming and you are just waiting.
Yeah, like maybe my art is not going to sell because God is feeling like I'm putting my art before him.
Yep.
Or I want it. Or even not just my art, but
always setting yourself up for a loss.
Wanting to be successful in my art maybe too much.
Yep. So you're setting yourself up. Always setting yourself up to lose it at any point, anything.
Yep. Or maybe the way that God is blessing me, I'm loving what he gives more than him. You know what I'm saying? So even when I'm being blessed with something, I'm just like, no, this counts as nothing when it comes to knowing you, God. Thank you for what you've done, but I recognize that you are even more amazing than what you have done. Yep.
Oh my God. This all really strips you of your humanity and your individuality. I'm not trying to legitimize the Bible or give any weight to that ridiculous ass text. I just remember a few years ago when there was just so much race shit happening and everything was heated. And I was trying to make sense of it all while holding on to my belief in Jesus, in the Bible, in Christianity, and still being like God above everything else. God, this is a hard ass year. Everything sucks but God. I was just trying so hard not to lose God in the midst of so much turmoil. And I remember trying to use this passage in Corinthians to talk about like unity and diversity in the body of Christ. I was like, surely my fellow church members, my fellow brothers and sisters in Christ cannot deny the word of God that they believe is infallible. So if I can find a way to explain why the individual matters and why the individual's lived experience matters, if I can find it in the word, nobody can tell me I'm wrong. Nobody can argue it. And maybe this would be enough that these people would start to care about this. And so I went into it and I was like, I really feel like I have something here. I really feel like I found something here. Not that nobody has found, but I feel like this is something that might bring everybody together and ultimately keep me in Christianity, because this shit is it's flying out of my life at a fast rate, and I am literally
losing its grip.
I am drying everything that I can. I am spending hours, and I think about the literal hours that you and I were on FaceTime. I am spending hours, everything that I can to not lose my faith. And I was like, wow, Christians really know how to focus on the one body unity aspect of this chapter of the Bible and just hop over the many parts diversity section. I was like, hope you're goofy. That's not an accident. We didn't just forget this part of the Bible exists. They want to strip you of your individuality. Skipping over the many parts in the diversity is purposeful. Never give weight to the individual and the individual's lived experience. If we are going to hammer in, we are all part of one body. We're not going to talk about many parts and how, it's like many parts make a whole. And so we need every part of this, but don't get that, don't believe something incorrect, because that doesn't mean that you as an individual actually really matters, and what you're interested in, what you bring to the table actually matters that much. And only if it does matter, it's only then to serve the greater body and the greater purpose,
the body of Christ. So
then you don't actually matter, because anything that you give is only for something more important than you. You don't have anything for yourself. All you have is for other people in service of the Lord, laying your life down.
Love God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Only now are some people saying you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself. Not what I grew up with.
Nope.
Not what I was taught.
Self last. Self bottom.
No, Jesus laid down his life, and no greater love has no one than this, to lay down your life for your friends.
Yep.
Your life? Okay. You have nothing for yourself.
Yep. Nope. And since Christianity is the white man's tool of oppression, as a Black person of color, a person of the global majority, you lose even more. Everybody loses in Christianity. I cannot make that more clear. Everybody loses. Everybody's individuality is stripped from them, no matter who you are, no matter what your skin looks like, no matter where you come from. But people of the global majority lose at such a higher rate. The amount that they throw away when they sign up for Christianity and have no idea that is even going on, it's heartbreaking. Because when you do it, you are also simultaneously throwing away almost all of your own culture.
Yeah.
And that is your blood. That is your being. That is your home life. That is everything that you are, and you just throw it away, and you unknowingly just take on this white way. It took me years, a whole lifetime of giving myself to Christianity to realize how much of my Blackness I suppressed, was ashamed of, how much of my culture I suppressed, was ashamed of, how much I said, yuck, you guys are far, thinking less of my own people because of my belief in Christianity. You literally you deny your own culture, your ethnicities, and you start to view your own culture then as inherently evil. It's right for me to be here, and this thing it's it's demonic,
Inherently
evil. Yes, like inherently, not like some parts of it are good, some parts are bad. No, it is inherently evil, and there is evilness lurking. Like like we're and then you're like, people are throwing out voodoo and witchcraft, and it's just you are like, this is wrong, and I must cling to this way of life. I know a friend of mine is a master artist, a master drummer, and a master dancer, and because of his Christian faith, he has thrown away so much of the repertoire that he has dedicated his entire life to, and is so important in his culture and his family line, like dating back.
I was gonna say that it completely breaks down a culture and tradition. That's the goal. Is because what's naturally here is not of God.
Yes, exactly.
So we want to break it down to bring everybody into the fold of Jesus.
Yep.
It completely breaks down your lineage, your heritage, your culture, your tradition, your music, your everything. Everything about your culture is supposed to dissipate.
Yep.
And disintegrate.
Yes. It's ultimate control. You give everything of yourself, and you lose, and you throw away everything. And he just does not acknowledge so much of it, because he believes that it is inherently wrong, and it's going to also bring demonic presence into his life. And then he's going to see, like he was believing at a time that bad things in his life, in a sense, were happening, because he's not separating himself enough from his culture and the evilness that people in his culture are participating in. Wow. So when we were living in California, my husband was there. The reason why we moved there was because he was studying. He was getting his master's degree in African drum and dance at one of the top institutions in this country for world music. It was a very big decision that we made, because we knew this was the best place for him to get this exact specific education. And there was this family in the church, and I go back and forth between wanting to call them by name, because I believe that these people are some of the most harmful people, and it's like, if I say their name, maybe people could be saved, or maybe people who know them can be validated that these people are very, very scary. Yeah. So we started this community class, because this music that he was learning is
I'm freaking out, because I'm gearing up for what you're
It's community based. The beauty of it is not in how well you play, but in how people play together. And so it was like, we're passionate about this. Yeah, he studied, he's the expert, but I am in it. I am for this. And so we started the class, and this family decides to fake their support and attend one class. And I already knew that they made up their mind, but it was like evil. You want to talk evil? You want to talk demonic? They were evil. And they came to the class, and then right after the class, we receive an email about how so it was the in that family, it was the father and the youngest son who came to the class, both drummers, and so that's why they came, because percussion and dancing. They both came, and the husband said that he felt a demonic spirit that was coming out of the drums, and that playing that music, there was just a demonic presence in that room.
Fucking white people, man.
And that they, in that email, so they said, yes, Steve felt it, and we're not going to allow our son to participate in this class anymore. And it would have already been far if they just stopped there, because the audacity. I'm not trying to legitimize Christianity, But like at least within Christianity, like can we have the common respect that like I'm hearing from God as well as you. But in this setting, you believed that you hear from God better than I do. And so if your husband felt a demonic spirit, there was a demonic spirit in there.
Yeah.
No question. No question. But it didn't stop there. Because then they decided that they were going to attach the most racist article I have ever laid eyes on. Ever. They added it as just like, so we felt it, and like here is an article that explains like what comes of that music. Oh my God, I get so fucking angry thinking about it, because I don't know how I ever even allow these people to even set their eyeballs on me after this moment. It was lowest of low shit. And the way that this article talked about specifically West African music as other, inherently evil, bad, that if people like don't be fooled. It's not just you coming into a class and playing these drums. If you participate in this, you are opening yourself up to demonic presence in your life. You cannot just simply enjoy the music from other cultures. This music is inherently evil. And this is totally unrelated, but I think I had to add it because I'm going to give this family a segment in this video right now, because the harm is just fucking...
I'm incensed. Honestly, if you can't catch me, I'm fucking incensed right now.
Ridiculous. I gave birth to my daughter, and the same week that I came home, these people sent me something in the mail. I never gave them my address. They never asked me for my address. They sent me an article in the mail about the vaccine death rate in children, and proceeded to highlight literally the percentages. And they were just like, you know what? I just wanted to like send this your way just in case you didn't know, and that way you just can like make informed decisions. And I was like, I am a young mom, fresh newborn, figuring this thing out, trying to make the best possible decisions for my child here. And you want to scare me shitless, and you don't even ask permission to fucking scare me. They're some of the most harmful people I have ever met. The caucasity that exists in the Christian church is next level.
Fucking next level shit. You are telling me this shit, and I'm honestly, I can't even I don't know if you can tell, but my foot is shaking. I'm just like, I have nothing. I remember when I read that article and I was like, what the actual fuck? Like, what the actual fuck? This was sent to you to denigrate your own culture,
yes,
to your face, to educate you,
yep,
about the evil of your people,
yep,
just in case you didn't fucking know. Just want to educate you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't know white people could tell me more about what's going on here than I could. Don't be fooled. It's not just an innocent musical experience.
Yep.
It's not like a regular drum set that was, I don't know who the fuck invented it, but that white people play.
Yep.
This is African drums. They have African religion over here. They have African spirituality. Have you heard of that?
Yep.
They do other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
That's what they're trying to tell you. That
yes.
They do other things with other gods with their music. They worship other gods. And how dare you use those tools that they use to do unchristianly acts. Don't think you're just having a good time. Like a drum set over here. Like a drum set. These African... No, honestly, I could go on.
No,
These African drums...
Yep, please.
Are African. And we know what... You know what I'm saying, though? And we know that African isn't Christian.
Exactly.
So how could it even be a cultural object and for it to be anything but non-Christian, because they have their own gods over there? Did you know? Did you know?
Yeah.
that West Africans do these kind of things with their drums.
Yes.
Be careful. I honestly, like, I honestly, you know, like,
I know.
honestly, I'm just, I cannot.
I know.
It's African. Okay, let me,
No, yes.
let me get myself together.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I together? Maybe I'm together. Okay. Let me just say that for when it comes to like getting, you know, my whole thing with idols, right? Because whatever. Like, I'm honestly frazzled. I'm gonna, you know, on music though. Music was a very actually specific thing in a very, I mean, not a very different way, but in a different way, in the sense that, like, I actually, what you said before about only listening to Christian music, I actually stopped listening to the music that I loved growing up when I became a Christian.
Right.
Music that helped me express myself. Like, I think I've heard that, like, what you love, like, when you're, like, in your middle school teen years is, in a sense, like, what you end up loving your whole life.
I feel it.
You know?
Yes.
So I just felt like that music that I grew up with.
Oh, that is so true. Oh,
right?
my gosh. So that
you
is
think
so
so? That's
true.
what I thought when I heard it.
Oh, my goodness. I'm thinking about my music
Yes.
interest. I'm even thinking about my husband's music interest. I'm
Right,
like, yes.
right.
I'm like, ooh, you saying something. Yep.
That's what I heard. I mean,
Fact.
obviously I don't have a source.
Yeah, I know.
But I love hip hop and rap. Like, I love that shit. I was illegally downloading all the mixtapes that I could find, you know, except when I was repeating the same one over and 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 over again.
Right.
And then I would find the next one. But, you know, that music played a big role in shaping my emotional intelligence and creative expression, because it's very much an expression of self, an expression of struggle, an expression of community. And so they shaped how I saw that I could express myself. You know, there's a lot wrong with hip hop and rap. You know, there's a lot of misogyny going on there. I'm not going to say that everything about it is amazing, but at the same time, it's part of my culture. It's part of my experience. It's a beautiful thing that we create. We created it. And it came to a point where I was just like, it's too sinful to even approach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I couldn't even catch myself believing that this music was okay to even spend time with.
Yeah.
You know, and like with all the swearing, you know, like the clothing, or, you know, whatever, the blackness, you know.
There's absolutely no way you can rationalize
There's
it.
actually no way that I can rationalize listening to some shit that's going to say fuck, fuck, fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No way.
You know?
No, like, personal moments with God and, like, really try to work it out.
Unless maybe I could find some Christian rappers. But I tried that. I tried it. I will say I tried it. But I couldn't catch myself believing that it was good and that it was worth spending time on. So I basically just spent my life chasing the constant high of worship music and worship experiences, because that's the only thing that I'm really allowed musically to take part in.
Yes. Ooh,
or at least not with, you know, scrutiny and hypervigilance. I can fully give myself to this. I cannot give myself to something that I love over here, so I might as well just cut it out of my life so it doesn't also influence me. Bad company corrupts good character. I might start believing things that I shouldn't believe just because I'm insidiously listening to this music. I also couldn't listen to my culture's music because, you know, dancing and sensual dancing is too much.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The way that we dance is wrong. Wrong.
Yes.
Inherently wrong the way that we dance.
There will never be hip movement.
No.
That
hip
would
movement,
be
body touching? No. Never that.
Inherently
wrong.
Inherently evil.
And if sexuality and sensuality and confidence is part of your dancing, and it's not just like, if it's like you feel your body, evil.
Oh,
I'm telling you,
hell
evil.
fucking
A body roll is gonna like, whoa.
Yep.
Okay, that honestly was private. Like, I shouldn't have seen it. You shouldn't have done it in your privacy, but I certainly shouldn't even be seeing it.
You could perform the sexual immoral act also.
Yep. So basically, I have to Jesus wash my life, which means I whitewash my life. Because there's an inherent mistrust of your own people, like you said, your own culture, and all of the ideas associated. That hypervigilance, that keeping it in check is always present. I can't listen to my music. I can't dance to my music because it's inherently sinful. And you even start to feel like you're not noticing it, but like even like gospel music might be just like, ooh, maybe that's a little too much, because like you don't even realize that you're believing that a white artist is going to maybe have just like a better grasp on things.
Yes.
Because we're coming from this African that just like is, who knows what's going on over there.
Yep.
Then you're already going to, I don't know. It's just like you start to mistrust your own people, because you're like, they might have the thing that is not Christian. So like maybe I need to just take it with a grain of salt.
You don't, that's what I'm saying.
I love choirs.
It's like you unknowingly take on the white way, because absolutely I defaulted 100% to white Christian leaders of any sort. Whether that be pastors, preachers, speakers, musicians, music groups.
Y'all, so, we don't got a crew over here. The camera done died.
Yep.
And then we just talked for 20 minutes. So, fate has it that we have just entered the conversation back, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Or at least not knowing where we left off. We know exactly what's going on. I'll tell you that.
No, we absolutely do.
We surely do. But yeah, just like you don't even realize that you're basically starting to feel like you can't, that you're not even trusting the word or the act of a person of color who's Christian, because in a sense their culture might be, I just can't emphasize that it's not really that conscious. Like you just have this feeling that like it's safer over here. Yes. Because you're denying that part of yourself, you're feeling like you can't tap into it with someone else. So like at the end of the day, I know that what I know is gonna be safe is over here with the white pastor or teacher. Maybe this person is gonna use a little too much slang, be a little too hood. Yep. And I don't know.
Get a little too off.
Yeah, start saying things that are just like, wait, are we sure that you're okay saying that?
Right. Are you trying to be just too culturally
too cool?
relevant?
Yeah.
And just like, yeah. It's just more
as
easy.
If black is cool too.
It's like more easy for them to lose their way.
Yeah.
It's more easy for them to like go off script, go off the Bible, not keep Jesus, get too comfortable. It's like, I don't know, it's like these white people, they're just gonna, they have stay on. They have
nothing to lose, nothing to impact them.
They have nothing to slide into.
Yeah. And honestly, like, this is not the case every single place. And obviously some places do it better. But at the end of the day, like, there is a sense that, like, Christianity is the one thing. Jesus is the one thing. This is reality. So at the end of the day, you are going to believe that there has to be one right way to do things. So if this over here is not the right way, and they're saying this is the right way, I'm going to follow that. So even though there's going to be maybe some people who are going to do diversity better, or they're, not even just like this, but even just a little bit, with intention, at the end of the day, there's right and there's wrong, and there's what you take and what you leave. And that's just not an experience that white folk be having. Well, not from my experience.
Yes.
I know that I can say I'm losing a lot.
Right.
I'm turning off a lot in myself. I can't watch movies. I can't endorse or even feel okay watching something that I enjoy, like Grey's Anatomy.
Right.
I had to stop watching it because I was like, they are really depicting Christianity negatively. Yes. And I have to leave.
I remember oh my gosh, do you remember when I made a whole like Instagram story series on how like I needed to come on and I needed to, because I was like, I know that there are people, like there are people that follow me on Instagram who also watch Grey's Anatomy. And if they watched last Thursday's episode, then they have received something that I must correct. Yeah. And I came on, I did like I don't even know. Like oh
my gosh, I don't even
It's definitely got to be in my archives.
Yeah.
And I really said hard words about like the wrong depiction of Christianity and what is actually true. So I'm just trying to add to that.
I actually have not picked it back up. I mean, I also haven't picked it back up because it's a beast. Yeah, and I'm like, honestly, leave it in the past, because like getting back into it would just be so large, and I can't do it. But yeah, I can't count the number of things that I stopped engaging in, the things that I stopped watching, stopped listening to, because I couldn't endorse it, because it wasn't fully Christian. Therefore, I knew it couldn't be for me, because idols and things. And basically, I also got tired of trying to see if everything was up to par. I got tired of that hypervigilance, and I knew. I think, like you said before, like I was going to be safe here in this Christian worship music. I was going to be safe in this whatever experience was prescribed. Everybody has to be the same. There is one way to live, and there are right things and there are wrong things. Yeah, we say like certain things are on to conviction or how you feel about it, but a lot of things are not, and this is one of them. Even seeing anything sinful, like aka sexual, if it's sexual, it's sinful. I have to like, maybe this is not for me. It's just too far. You see a sex scene, you're like, they've really taken it too far.
Oh,
as if also when you're married, you're not supposed to be having sex. So it's not even like Christians who are married and are supposed to be having sex are allowed to watch anything that is sexual.
Yes,
you still have to stay away from anything that might.
It's still impurity.
Yes, it's still impure.
You still have to catch your purity, even in marriage.
Yep. So you really lose a lot of your own individuality, the things that you like, the things that you wanted to have, the things that you feel like God is going to take from you. And that is just, it intensifies, it magnifies, it amplifies when you're a person of color, when you're a person of the global majority, and what you have is deemed inherently sinful. And it colors your view of yourself, of your own people, and you feel like you have to fit this mold of what a Christian is. And a lot of times, most of the time, what it is white.
There was something that I just thought of that I didn't write down, so I don't know how well I'm going to be able to communicate it. But I remember when it really hit me how much I had taken on the white way and how much I had denied myself.
Yeah.
When I scrolled through all of the pins that I saved on Pinterest and realized how predominantly white they were. Everything about it. And I was like, wow, I don't see myself. Like actually see myself, my skin tone represented in any of these things that I've saved. I've absorbed these things, and there is no me anywhere in these things. It's like at the time I really believed that I liked those things, that those were the things I was like, oh, I would love to do that. And I just had no idea that I just removed myself completely. I was like putting on like whiteness onto my black self. Like I don't know if that came through, but I just remember that moment because I remember you told me it was like my pins revealed to me
what was going on.
It
showed you yourself in that moment. And I just want to say also like how fucking vulnerable this is to say, looking like this, that this is how I felt. Like, it disgusts me that this is how I felt about my own people. It disgusts me that this is how I felt about myself. And sharing this, it hurts to say, it hurts to feel, it hurts to believe that this was my life and this is how I felt. That I separated myself, from my lineage, from my people, from my community, from the things that I love, from the things that are a part of me, from the things that just are ancestral and that are important. Ancestral is like you now become part of the Jesus ancestor line. You lose that. It doesn't matter anymore what you came for before. And
we're all descendants of now this.
It makes me so sad and ashamed.
It hurts. It really does.
And honestly, we're going to leave it there. We know that this has been quite a lot. And once again, we just want to say these are the conclusions that we have come to. This is where we're at. And you don't have to feel how we felt about everything. And we know that people are in different places with this stuff. And that's okay. So just, know that.
I feel like we haven't explicitly said it. I hope it does come through in the way that we are doing our best to communicate it. It's just that like you are free to believe whatever you want to believe.
It's a beautiful thing.
We are not out here telling people what to believe, what's wrong to believe. Don't reclaim Christianity. Don't hold on to anything. None of that.
This is just our experience.
Yes. And this is the way that we see things. And I know like I think in the last one we were just kind of clear about like what it is that we think
Yeah.
and what it is that we believe. And we just do not believe
Yeah.
anything of the Christian faith to be true.
Yeah.
Not the Bible, not that Jesus is God, not that the historic aspects of Christianity matter.
It's just not something that we want to be a part of and that we want to salvage in any way.
Yes.
We want to unlearn it and move on.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at.
And that might not be
Where you're at.
where you're at or what you choose to do moving forward.
But if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. And that's amazing. And we appreciate that for you being here.
Yes. And our hope in sharing our journeys is obviously for ourselves. We are very much so healing and recovering through this work that we're doing. It is incredibly vulnerable, incredibly hard, and also hoping that in our realness, in our rawness, in our vulnerability, that you'd be able to find yourself in any part of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you believe what we believe, that you think what we think.
Or find yourself in all of it.
Right. But that we are here for you. Like that, I don't know, I'm just like, we are, us sharing is us expressing that we are here for you. Yeah, You're not alone.
Absolutely not. That is so true. You are not alone. And thank you. Yeah, I love the way you said that. With that being said, check us out where you can check us out.
Yes.
Connect with us more on, our socials, and hit the subscribe button if you want to stick around and hear more of our story and converse with us, dialogue with us, ask us questions, let us know. You can always reach out and we want to talk to you. So
we are going to be continuing this.
Yes.
We have a lot more, like, actually, like, y'all have seen this shovel, and I'm telling you, this segment, if we thought we were digging before, we are digging now.
We're digging more than we thought we was going to. We knew, but it's also present.
Yes. And we are just going to continue to really, really, really unpack it and express it and talk about it as best as we can.
Yep.
And yes. So hit all the buttons.
Yep.
Pay.
Yep. Reciprocity, my friends. Thank you. No, it's a lot of labor if you can.
Yes.
No pressure. But if you can, if you want to. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty.
Love ya.
See ya.
Bye.